Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson, World Alternative Media here, and we are joined by Tim Picciott, the Liberty Advisor, and we're going to go into some really interesting stuff today as crypto is definitely making a move upwards. At least it's doing something after months of seemingly doing nothing. But as we could see on this CoinMarketCap page here, we have Bitcoin up 2.38%. As I say this, it did go above $10,000 for the first time in a little while. I'm going to go into this article by Zero Hedge. It says, massive short squeeze sends crypto surging, Bitcoin above 10K, Ethereum tops $300. But before I go into this, make sure to hit that like button, check those links below, share on social media, my friends, to get around the shadow banning. Join us on Flote.app, BitChute, Minds, and LBRY, as well as join our newsletter at www.iamband.com. And there's many options below for you guys to donate or pledge, as we are completely viewer funded. That's right. We also have a Cointree address where you can donate to Ethereum, to Bitcoin, to Monero, whatever you want. And our Bitcoin address is in the description below as well. So anyway, let's get into this as this article gets into here. It says, aside from the safe haven status amid the global money printing fiasco occurring in fiat land, the major run in the largest cryptocurrencies in recent days appears to have been driven by two technical factors: over-leveraged, short, unwinded, and traders taking profit from overextended altcoins. Overnight saw Bitcoin top $10,000. We see the chart there, and carrying on, it says, as Cointelegraph reports, when Bitcoin initially broke over $10,000, it triggered over-leveraged short contracts to become liquidated. When Bitcoin reached $10,200, it caused a cascade of liquidations to occur, totaling $74 million. Bitcoin has seen many phases when more than $50 million worth of short or long contracts gets liquidated. But for this to occur within a span of a few hours is less typical. The mass liquidations of long contracts at $10,000 also suggests that the $10,000 to $10,200 remains as a heavy resistance area. As soon as Bitcoin hit $10,200, the price dropped below $10,000, marking a short-lived rally. At least for now, we don't know where it might go next. It's completely pointless to really try and predict long-term, short-term, where Bitcoin is going. But Tim, let's talk about this. We have been following crypto for many years. You obviously, as an advisor, a certified financial planner, work with crypto unlike most people, most financial planners. We'll go into that in a moment. But first, can you just talk a little bit about what do you think is driving crypto up as we see gold and silver obviously make big runs as well?
I mean, just like you said before, I'm not really interested necessarily in the day-to-day, hour-to-hour. I'm not really trading this. I think on a long-term time horizon, it's probably going to eventually go to infinity as the system ends up collapsing. But yeah, in the short term right now, one of the things I like to look at is the fear and greed index. We just pulled it up. It was a 55. So basically, a 0 would be, complete pandemonium. Everyone's completely scared, and 100 would be, as optimistic as you can possibly get. And traditionally, when it's closer to 100, it's a good time to sell. Not financial advice, just, typically that's what's happened, not guaranteed to happen. And then typically when it's been, in the teens or, even below 10, it's usually been a very good signal to buy. So right at 55, it's not it's neutral. It's not screaming buy, not screaming sell. But you know what? If you're looking to get into it, and you're holding on and waiting for it to get back to 4,000 or 3,000, yeah, it could get back down to 4,000.
Well, let me just note quickly, on June 26, 2019, the fear and greed index hit 95, and I remember that was right after Bitcoin jumped to about $14,000 and then saw a massive leg down, and you could only imagine people thought, was this a dead cat bounce? Are we going to 3,000 again? And of course that didn't quite happen, but the lowest I see on this chart here is around, let's see, 5 on the 22nd of August, 2019.
Yeah, and every time I'm not going to say every time, but when it gets down low, I don't like prognosticate in the price of Bitcoin very much, but I made some Facebook posts when it was down at like 6 and 10, like, listen, guys, if you're looking to get in, now would be probably a pretty good time. Even, and I was probably, I don't know when it was, probably like March-ish time frame. I was even, making some, suggestions to some of my clients about that. And, just longer term though, let's say you've got $10,000 and you're trying to think, okay, I want to allocate this portion to Bitcoin. Should I do it now? Should I wait? Probably you should get a little bit in now, and then dollar cost average is probably gonna be the best thing, because who knows, it could go down, but eventually if it does go up to 20,000 again, then it's gonna be harder and harder and harder to eventually acquire Bitcoin. And there's not even enough Bitcoin out there for every millionaire to even have one Bitcoin. And so for me, it's not about a 1 month, 1 day, what's it gonna do tomorrow type deal. I'm not interested in actively trading it, but if you are interested in taking some profits when things start getting frothy, one way you can do that is inside of a Roth IRA. And so when you do a Roth IRA, it is a tax-free gain. And so a lot of you out there might already have Roth IRAs, but you could take part of your traditional IRA, convert it into a Roth, and then there's pros and cons of doing that. But let's say you're in a home run type environment, and all of a sudden now your $100,000 turns into $1 million. Well, then now you could pull it out. You could actually pull it out in physical crypto, not physical crypto, but not from like the one of the indexes, or actually technically there isn't indexes, there's only trust. But I gotta be careful because there's like things I can't say and can say being licensed. Like I can't give the name of it because that would be bad from an SEC standpoint. So but there's also a loophole where if I'm just winging it like I'm doing it right now, I don't have to have this approved. So that's why we're sort of just winging it up here. But when it comes to Bitcoin, it really isn't for me like this what hits the fan disaster insurance. I'm not looking for it as a safe haven because I was on record saying that when there was the first stages of the financial crisis, it probably would go down 80%. I said that on February 11th at Anarchapulco. I'm surprised I didn't get like booed off stage for saying that. And we saw Bitcoin go down probably close to 80%. So I'm not here taking a victory lap, but but people are so, you were talking with someone on the phone the other day, and they're like, when's Bitcoin going to move? I'm like, well, be careful what you wish for, because if everything, like maybe another, I don't know if this video has come out yet or not by the time we release this, but an alien attack video that we have, somewhere in the pipeline, that could make Bitcoin skyrocket, but be careful what you wish for, because, as this totalitarianism and a lot of, basically they're, putting the boot down on our neck harder and harder and harder, then that creates the environment for probably Bitcoin to go up. And so I'm not necessarily like hoping, because for me, in a long enough time horizon, okay, what's 5 years? What's 3 years? I mean, not very much in the grand scheme of things. So people who want, are so anxious to get this stuff started, I would use this time now to try to acquire more income, to then be able to put more income into things like Bitcoin, increase your knowledge. I mean, I get people who, email me, hey, I've got, $1,000. What should I do? Well, at that point, you got $1,000. There's no way you're going to be able to save yourself with $1,000. You need to be able to arm yourself with knowledge, maybe buy different courses. I'm not even selling a course. I'm just saying this, to have, more knowledge and use that knowledge to get more income, because at the end of the day, it's about income and turning that income into other assets. And then for me, having some gold, silver, or Bitcoin, for me is, I think, a wise move to do, or for a lot of people, a wise move to do in this type of environment, or really in any environment, because when, nobody wants it, that's when something is cheap. And when everybody wants it, then you can't afford it. And then another thing out there, if you're new to crypto, you can buy $10 worth, you can buy $15 worth. And then, if you have $1,000, put 25 of it in crypto, learn about it. Don't just take our recommendations off it. Not a recommendation, but just don't take our word for it. Go learn about it. And then also just don't go and get scammed into some crap coin because you think it's going to, 100x, million X. You should really know, everything you're getting yourself into before you get into it. And
something should be fundamentally valuable, something that can be used for something that has a point of existing, not just another competitive thing that is just like 50 other coins that does the same thing. It doesn't add anything to the market. There's a lot of those, honestly, 97, 98, even maybe 99% of the crypto market is like that, where you have 2 or 3% of good cryptocurrencies out there that are truly revolutionary. Remember, I mean, the whole idea of cryptocurrencies to begin with, and by the way, if you haven't already, check out the link below, thelibertyadvisor.com, if you want to get involved with Tim. But I mean, Bitcoin was built.
I would say it's less than 1%, because if, let's say, there's, depending on which offshoots and everything, if you're looking at 3,000 to 5,000 coins, there's no way there's 300 to 500 coins that are actually like out there that are going to be legit. Now, if we're not talking security tokens, because that's backed by real asset, but if you're looking at 300 to 500, there's no way 300 to 500 of these are good buys to me right now. So it's like 99.8, or you got like the same chance of, if there's 5,000 cryptos, you got about the same chance of dying from coronavirus as you do probably picking out one of the good.
Well, but I mean, also remember what Bitcoin was built around. The whole idea was kind of a collapsitarian approach of, in a crisis, this is what people should be getting involved in. And of course, this is my opinion, not investment advice. And I don't even think Bitcoin is forever going to be the top. I think there's going to be better ones to come along, and that's the way the market should work anyway. But with that said, I mean, gold, silver, and crypto are seeing a lot of momentum lately, a lot of volume lately, and the reason I believe behind that is because people are faced with a collapsitarian approach to the market right now. Because look at the market, look at the economy, look at where it's going. We have the Fed printing trillions of dollars, shoving all this money into the stock market, where it's leading to deflation. Eventually that money's going to land in people's hands. The dollar is going to become less valuable. We're going to deal with a massive collapse, the likes of which we've never seen. We're in the center of a massive collapse right now. A lot of people just don't know it yet, because the businesses that are still actually open are living off the last of their cash and are set to probably go under by the time of December, January, February. I mean, they're on their last leg. They can barely hang on. They're already dead. They're just trying to make as much out off of it as they can while they're still around and trying to feed their employees, basically. So don't mince words here. I mean, at the end of the day, we are already in the collapse. We're just in the denial phase of the collapse. And so things like Bitcoin and gold and silver obviously are going to be gaining momentum, because people are afraid. People that have watched our videos, people just actually average, normal, everyday people are looking at this stuff and going, man, I need to have something that's outside of the stock market, something that's outside of even, for example, computers like gold and silver, something to keep me safe in going into the future, some kind of wealth insurance against to hedge against a dollar collapse or against a market collapse. And of course, the stock market has been kind of in tune with Bitcoin lately to a great extent. When the stock market goes down, Bitcoin goes down. When the stock market goes up, Bitcoin seems to go up. But that will break apart once I believe, in my opinion, once the dollar really starts seeing the signs of weakness from massive amounts of printing and reaching people.
You could actually have a parabolic rise in the stock market because the dollar just loses so much value eventually on a long enough time horizon. I'm not talking the initial stages. I was talking about how the dollar was probably getting stronger and you would actually see a stock market bounce back. February 11th is when I was talking about all this stuff. And so it's amazing to sort of see this coming to fruition. But if you go back to Germany in early 1900s, I believe it was in 1912, the German stock market was something like 300, not looking at any notes right now. And then eventually by like 1921, 1922, it was 27 million-ish, whether it was 21 or 27. I mean, the point is it's, hyperbolic rise. But they had the gold mark, the Renmark, the Reichsmark, and then the Deutschmark. And so if you were to hold on to gold marks in safe, gold mark dollars, if you will, or gold mark bonds, you were wiped out, like basically, probably 99 cents, and you're given like a penny on the dollar. And then, but if you had like your stock in, let's say, Mercedes-Benz stock, which actually existed back then, you had 100 shares. Well, now your 100 shares got priced from, gold mark to Renmark to Rentenmark to Reichsmark, then to Deutschmark, and you actually still had on to some sort of physical, tangible value. But if you held it being safe in the bonds or in the debt instruments or in the cash, you were wiped out. And so, yes, you could see the stock market go up, but guess what? When your loaf of bread goes from 30 cents to $300, you're probably not even keeping up with the inflations. And so there's not one silver bullet. Silver is probably one of those bullets. Having bullets is probably one of those bullets too. Having crypto, but it's being diversified, having some sort of plan, having maybe even storable food. And then, if you wanted to talk with a financial advisor who's thought about these things, a while ago, you guys can go to thelibertyadvisor.com. If you've already made money off of crypto and you're using this video to show to like one of your friends, I've got different strategies, involving trust where you can, and this is for people who have like 7-figure type gains, where you can basically do like the strategies that like the Bill Gates and Warren Buffetts of the world are using to put money into foundations and being able to, basically if people actually knew, like, don't hate the player, hate the game. I didn't make up the laws, and I'm just trying to make sure that, and it's sort of, I'm sort of like bridging like the traditional system with the alternative system. And so if you're already in the, the traditional system, we can do things that can, greatly help you out from a wealth management perspective.
Absolutely. It's very rare to find certified financial planners that are getting into this kind of market and actually offer services in that. So really interesting. Make sure to check the links below, thelibertyadvisor.com, if you want to become a client. And obviously, check those links below, just regardless. If there's a lot of ways that you can help keep independent media alive, and there's obviously Bitcoin address and stuff like that, because we are completely viewer funded, completely demonetized by YouTube. Also join our newsletter at www.imband.com and join us on Flote.app, BitChute, LBRY, and Minds. all linked below in the description, as well as the pinned comment in the video. So anyway, going forward, I don't really think about where Bitcoin's going tomorrow. I more think about where Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general and the technology, the blockchain infrastructure technology, is going in 10 years. And I believe that I'm very bullish long term. Short term, I don't know what to think. I mean, honestly, I was hoping that at this point we'd see all-time highs again in Bitcoin, but beggars can't be choosers. At the end of the day, we are dealing with a very new market and something that isn't as predictable as you know, something like the stock market when the Fed just pumps a bunch of money into it. Oh, it's going up. Fed stops printing a bunch of money. Something happens in the news. Oh, it's going down. Now it's like massive story on Bitcoin hits the news. Nothing happens to Bitcoin. It's really hard to predict at this point, but I do know where the future is going. One way or another, whether you like it or not, we are going into a digital future. We're not going backwards. We're going forwards. Whether it'll be the government controlling blockchain and enslaving humanity, or individuals on the free market, decentralized transactions, private transactions, etc. on the blockchain going forward. One way or another, it's going to happen. So at least we can try and put our faith, or at least our effort and energy behind the latter: free markets, decentralization, and breaking free from the banking system. Keep in mind that the big banks, the central banks around the world, are trying to push a cashless society. And the very reason why they're doing this is because, as they say themselves, they're trying to combat against things like Bitcoin, against things like Monero, because they are afraid of it. They're afraid of what it could do. So we should, you know, break free from the cashless, centralized society and try and push forward for the free market, decentralized version. Because again, technology exists. We're not going back to the Stone Age. One way or another, this is something that we will have to deal with in the future. So either it'll be the mark of the beast, or it will be you having a bank in your pocket that no one controls. Up to you. Anyway, again, not investment advice, simply my opinion. I have to point that out for legal reasons. Anyway, I appreciate you going into this, Tim. And until next time, make sure to check those links below. This is Josh Sigurdson and Tim Picciott signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change. My friends, it is go time. We are completely demonetized on YouTube, and we depend on the viewer to stay alive and spread the message of freedom and truth. So check those links below. GoFundMe, Patreon, Subscribestar, anything you guys could do to help keep independent media alive helps enormously in helping spread this message to the masses. So make sure to check those links. Donate to our Bitcoin address on the screen or below. We really appreciate anything you could do to keep us alive. You could check those links below for Cointree as well, where you can find other cryptocurrencies that you can donate and keep WAM alive. Find us on flote.app, flote.app, as well as BitChute and LBRY and Minds. We're on all the other platforms. We are leaving YouTube soon, so make sure to find us at those sites, because it's the only way we can keep talking to you, the masses, the great people that actually care about the future of free humanity. Also, join our new newsletter at www.iamband.com. Anything helps at this point, guys. We need to support free information online. This is the most difficult time in our history, and it takes a lot of hard work to keep our message alive in the face of great evils that have taken over the propaganda news on television as well as on YouTube, where YouTube decides what you can or cannot see. We need your help, my friends. So I really appreciate anything you guys can do. Check those links. There's many ways you can help. Until next time, though, thanks, everyone. This is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.
I'm sure you have already changed people's minds in your young age because you're involved, and I like that.